Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing another unboxing, and this little package arrived actually again a few weeks ago, but I've been saving it so that I can film unboxing and swatching it with you. Let's open this up and I'll tell you all about it. So we've got some little cards about what I have, a little note from the person who sent them to me, and a little tin. So this is a little tin of a watercolour pigment. It's called Cornish Pigment, and it is a very small business run by a one-woman business. Her name is Katy. She actually lives probably less than 10 miles from where I am. I discovered her though through Loenic Studio. If you have been on my channel a while, you will recognise that name because Pippa, who I visited, she runs clay workshops, pottery workshops. And I just happened to spot on her feed one time on Instagram a workshop that she was running, and one of the participants had made this really cute water brush holder, and I looked at who had made it, and this led me then to discover this lady called Katy who creates these Cornish pigments. And what she does is that she finds pigments around the area and then grinds them up, cleans them down, filters them, and creates watercolours with them. And I thought, wouldn't that be lovely to actually sample some of these pigments and swatch them and paint with them. So she very kindly sent me a little tin of paints that I'll now unwrap with you and swatch and share how they work. She's also sent quite a few different cards of how the pigment has come about, where it's from exactly, and I'll share that information with you too. I'll leave all the links to Katy's shop in the description below, so if you fancy getting your own set of Cornish pigments, then you can do so. So here is the little tin that she sent me, and it's got her name, Cornish Pigment, and a little watercolour of a shell. I'm guessing this is actually painted in one of the colours that she has created. So let's have a look inside. Now I know Katy had sent me actually a couple of samples which weren't ready in stock, but hopefully she said they will all be in stock at the beginning of June. So this one is a very nice neutral colour. This is Buff Kitten, and I love that it's in a little shell. Opening up another one. So this one again is in another little pretty shell, and this colour I believe is Bonfire Heart. And then this next sample that she sent me is Degibna Rouge. Now if you're local to Helston area, then you'll recognise actually the name Degibna. There's a chapel called Degibna Chapel which is on the Penrose Estate, and I think this is where she got this colour from. And then inside, these are the ones that she stocks or are in stock. As I said, the other colours may also now be in stock, but they're more presented as samples, whereas these are how you would probably get them if you were to buy them from her directly. So I just love her little branding. She's used that shell branding and then put the name of the colour on the paper. Let's open them up and we will have a look. So a little paper and then wrapped in parchment of some kind. So this one is Seal Slate. Then we have another one, another slate, which kind of looks a little bit greeny. Actually, this one I read, oh lovely. This one's kind of, yeah, a really nice a soft kind of grey with a hint of green in it. This is actually one of the first non-Cornish colours, and actually says on the card that it's actually from Snowdonia in Wales, and it's a green Welsh slate. So it's a slate which is formed by metamorphosis of clay, shale and volcanic ash, which results in a fine-grained foliated rock. So chlorite produces green slate, and it's all processed by herself using traditional methods that's mostly done by hand. And then we have the next one. This one is Terracotta, although it says wonky on it. As I said, Katy actually sent these samples to me free of charge, so she's probably just sent me ones that that she had maybe a wonky. But this one is Terracotta, a lovely brick pigment harvested from terracotta, and she's found this on forest paths in Cornwall, and the orange-red colour comes from its high iron oxide content. Originates from Italian baked earth, and the firing process actually stops it from being biodegradable. And that's why you tend to find pottery from thousands of years ago, because it doesn't biodegrade. And she says actually by removing it and turning it into artist pigment, she is saving it from affecting the ecosystem and filling landfills. That's a good reason to harvest it for paint. And then the final colour we have is Penrose Ochre. Penrose is the estate not far from where I am. So it's just really interesting to find pigments that have been harvested from the local area where I may be walking or drawing myself. It looks like this one has also been presented in a little shell. Lovely. So that is that one. So there are all of the pigments. I swatched them in one of my sketchbooks that I would usually use to go out with. And we'll take a closer look. Katy has also helpfully included some of the swatching of the colours here. So you can, if you want, have a quick look at the colours with some gradients, different values. So I'm going to just spray them with a little bit of water. And I'm going to use my Dilution sketchbook to do some swatching. I thought that would be a good thing to do, as this is the sketchbook I use to go out with. So it'd be fun to see how they sit on the page, how they work. But also I will do some swatching also on a slightly more textured watercolour paper, because I think that will be helpful as well to see how they sit on a cold press paper as well. So let's start with some of the samples that she sent me. This is Bonfire Red. No, Bonfire Heart. This is Bonfire Heart. Oh, that is a lovely, rich pigment. So let's see if we can... Yeah, that's got a lot of texture to it as well. You can actually feel the texture in it. I'll tell you what Bonfire Heart is. Bonfire Heart is a mix of Degibna Rouge, which is that one, and Jackson's Art Pigment in Venetian Red. The first colour I made that included artist pigment from another brand. Made for a Valentine's palette, but now is in the permanent collection when it is back in stock. Okay, the next one I want to show you is Buff Kitten. Nice base colour. Again, very creamy colour. Buff Kitten is very different from the other paints. It's actually a mix of Penrose Ochre and Degibna Rouge with added recycled shimmer eyeshadow. Named Buff Kitten as it reminds me of the colour Buff Titanium, but it's very soft like my kitten. This is Katy who's saying this, and they had just got him when the colour was made. It's just so sweet to hear the story behind the colour choices. So let's actually do the other shell. This is Penrose Ochre. It's a little bit harder, this one, pigment, but it's a lovely soft warm ochre. So Penrose Ochre is one of the first Cornish pigments, first earth pigment that was harvested. Yellow ochre is one of the oldest pigments in existence. Cave paintings were used for this pigment. She found this colour in a spot on her favourite dog walk down Penrose in Helston. So after washing and processing by hand, it's now a staple in the Cornish Pigment collection. He also says ochre comes in a great variety of shades depending on their origin. Lighter shades of pale yellow may be burned to produce darker red shades. Okay, let's go on to, I want to do the Welsh Slate. This is very, very gentle pigment colour here. This would be great actually for either skies or seas around here. And also be good as an underpainting, I think, as well. Just to do some quick sketches with, because it is quite light. And the next one we'll do is called Seal Slate. This is her newest colour. Ooh. This definitely feels quite thick. It's a really nice grey though. See how dark I can get it. You can really see the difference now between these two colours. This is a really nice, almost greeny grey, very subtle, and then this, you've got a bit more punch with it. Could be good as a mixing grey as well. Great for rocks and darker areas. So the seal slate, that is, and that was actually made from waste material from a mosaic artist. Whilst it would usually go in the bin after making mosaic art, she let the sludge air dry and she sent me a batch to try, and now sends a lot of waste to Katy to turn into paint after further wash and refining it. So that's quite cool to hear as well. Now we've just got a couple more to do. So we've got the Terracotta and then the Degibna Rouge. So the Terracotta, oh yeah, that's nice, rusty, burnt rust almost. I think Crixus might like this colour. Very nice. That was found on her forest walks. And then finally we come to Degibna Rouge. This is nice and creamy now. Almost like a burnt sienna, this one. Nice. And this one, she's written, I remember walking past this particular colourful deposit when I was a young girl. Just up the hill from my house is a woodland route leading to Degibna. More research is needed to know exactly what these rocks are composed of, but they are soft and easy to process by hand. Some of the rocks are half grey and half this smoky pink colour. So yeah, if you know the area, you know that there is a place called Degibna and there's a chapel there as well called Degibna Chapel. So it's just really interesting anyway for me to find these colours and hopefully incorporate them into some of my sketches as well, to know that you're actually working with pigments from the ground that you're walking on. Just, I don't know, it's adds to it, and it's a little bit like going full circle. You're walking on it, you then can create from the ground that you're walking on, and I guess you'll be able to show the work to other people in the area. So there we go, that's the colours range that I've got, very kind of earthy tones. Really nice actually to work with them. I'll wait for them to dry, and in the meantime I'll swatch up on the textured watercolour paper so that you can see how they look. That is just a gorgeous colour, that slate. There we go. Actually, it was really fun to actually do it on this textured paper. Just the way that it reacts with the paper. I love the texture of the paper coming through. I think my favourites to work with were this seal slate and the terracotta, and also this bonfire. But I do like the softer shades as well, particularly that Welsh slate. So I'm going to just label this up, wait for them to dry, and then I'll work a little bit more on this side of the book with some quick kind of scenes, maybe a bit more abstracted landscapes, so we can see a bit more how they work. How cute do these look, all laid out together with their colours and then their names. I've also done a little bit of collage here, cutting out a bit of brown paper and sticking the watercolour paper on top. Thought it makes quite a nice page spread. Obviously I'm not going to stick all of these in, but it's just nice to have them laid out in a way that shows you all the colours and the range of colours from the minerals, rocks, ground that we walk on. So yeah, I really enjoyed putting that together. So on this side, I am now going to do a bit of drawing, sketching, where I'll combine the watercolours with some pencil sketches. I'm going to just use a Pitt oil pencil, and as you can see, I've collaged a bit of brown paper here because my intention is to do some watercolour on this textured watercolour paper, and then I'll pop that on top of there once I've done it. I thought for my subjects here it'd be fun actually just to do illustration of some of the shells and maybe a bit of slate, something that's quite simple, natural, and just then would be fun to combine with maybe one or two of the colours. And then I thought in this box I'd do like a landscape, maybe combining again a few of the colours, and then also on this piece I'd do a little landscape as well. So let's see how I get on, and why not join me, do some sketching as I sketch as well. Just doing a really simple drawing of the shell that the pigment is in. A little bit of texture here, a bit of shadow. do another shell here. And then I'll finish with just a piece of slate. I'm going to just use my draw from my imagination. Imagine a piece of slate is chipped off. There we go. I'm just going to now choose a couple of colours and do some washes over the top. I'm going to use a bit of buff and the Penrose Ochre, the Welsh Slate and the Seal Slate. I might also add a touch of Degibna Rouge, but let's see. I think this is quite nice as a shadow colour. That is the Welsh Slate. Very quick watercolour washes over the top of those pencil sketches. As you can see, it's quite again a muted colour palette, but it's really nice and soft and would make for some nice details, I think, of particular subjects. So let me just move those. Let's do a little landscape here. See if I can draw out that yellow, or not the yellow ochre, but the Penrose Ochre. And using the Gwyrdd Slate. Going in with a bit more of a dry brush. See if I can get some texture. There we go, a very mini little landscape. Looks very moody, which is quite different for me. Normally I'm using brighter colours, but yeah, this looks like a moody seascape, which I will put there. So I'll just finish with giving you a little tour. So if you're interested in any of the pigments that I've used today, please go and check out Katy's Cornish Pigment. It is just Cornish Pigment, but her name is Katy. Check out her Etsy shop. It's in the link of this description. As I said, she'll be doing a restock the beginning of June, so that'll be the best time to check it out. And then if you're watching this later, I'm sure she'll probably be doing monthly restocks. I know that these paints, they do sell pretty quickly. So yeah, if you want to check out more regular what she's doing, then I would suggest you find her on Instagram, where you can find out more about what she's working on, what kind of paints she's mixing up, and yeah, just generally finding out what's going on behind the scenes. I hope you really enjoyed this video today. Hope you're well, and I'll speak to you again really soon.